Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today?
Great!
Great, that's awesome. Welcome to Beardsley Zoo. My name is Jackie. I'm one of the educators here at Beardsley Zoo, and welcome to our show. I love working at the zoo because I love animals. Who loves animals out there? Oh, good. I was hoping I would see everyone with their hands up. Who would like to save animals? I certainly do. And you know what? Here at Beardsley Zoo and most AZA zoos, that's what we do. We want to save animals, right? Different things make it a little tough to save animals, but we're going to tell you some of those things about animals, about our cool program called Saving Animals from Extinction. We're going to bring out some of our animal ambassadors. Now, one thing, hold on to your questions right now. One thing that you'll be able to do right now today with the program to save animals during this presentation is to just sit where you are. Feel free to take as many pictures as possible, but if you can mute your phone, which I think I already did, that would be helpful. And we want to, even though the animals might be kind of fun and exciting and a thrill to see, you want to not wave your hands at them or try and reach out at them. Okay, that's going to make them feel comfortable, and that's one of the ways that you can help keep them safe while you're here at the zoo today. Does that sound like a pretty easy thing to do? Now, I will tell you a little background, and that is, here at the zoo, there's something really special that we do to save animals from extinction. It's called our Species Survival Plan that we participate in. It's a captive breeding program for threatened and endangered species, kind of like a computer dating service. But some of the animals that we've helped, as well as many other zoos in the AZA community, 229 of them to be specific, some of those animals we've saved, red wolves, golden lions, herons, bison, to name a few. Well, we always care about the peacocks on the ground. Thank you for bringing that up. We want to not, right? We want to not chase those peacocks. Right, so that's some of the things that we do to help endangered animals or threatened animals and save them. So I think we should be about ready for something. Let's see if we've got something in the wings ready to make an appearance. Awesome. Did you see that come out of the wings? Did you get my hint? That was Nick. She got my hint. That is Arwen, our Harris hawk. Now, Arwen is demonstrating her amazing ability for flight. What she just did there is called baiting. So a hawk is going to want to fly. Now, Arwen here has an injury and can't be released out into the wild. And that's something else we do here at Beardsley Zoo and other zoos and aquariums, is when there are animals like wild raptors, birds of prey, that get injured and can't fly on their own, or due to the injury just cannot sustain themselves. We take them in and provide a really safe environment for them. We have good health benefits, good retirement plans, all those good things. So when they're here at the zoo, they get the utmost in care to ensure their survivability. So Arwen has an injury on her toe, but you can see her wings work pretty well. Arwen can fly up to 60 miles an hour. She is a Harris hawk, and Harris hawks are found in the desert Southwest. They like to hunt jackrabbits. There's not a lot of prey out in the desert Southwest, but what there is jackrabbits. So that's a pretty big meal for one animal. So what she does is she hunts with sometimes members of her family or extended families, and they hunt together cooperatively, like a wolf. They're kind of like the wolf of the skies. So if you work together, you can bring down a bigger meal and feed more of your family. So one hawk might be over here distracting the rabbit while the other hawks kind of circle around. And it's a great way to extra food. It's like going to McDonald's and you don't order 4-piece nuggets. You order the 20-piece, right? Feeds more people. Now, some of the cool things, are you going to walk around with her, Nick? Okay, so what we're going to focus on, as you're looking at Arwen, is her hooked feet. She uses that like a knife and fork to break her food up into bite-sized pieces so she's able to swallow it carefully. And the other cool thing she has is right on the top, she's got a brow ridge. So that ridge right there, it's almost like wearing a baseball cap or a visor to shield your eyes from the sun. So as she's hunting her prey, and she won't get blinded by the sun, right? She can't make that corner, there's sun's right in your eyeballs, she's got the brow ridge to help her. And the other cool thing that she has to help her grab her food off her counter. Now, Nick is wearing, you see that kind of a cool glove called a gauntlet that's going to protect her from those talons. Not only are they sharp, but their grip strength is very powerful, so it will usually go right through her hand. Thank you. So, awesome. Thank you, Arlen. Now see, she's attached to a leash, which prevents her from taking off. That was looking at a good size. All right, now there's my prop. We have a prop over here. It's called an artifact, specifically a bone clone. So this is a model of an actual skull. Might look kind of familiar, especially if I, well, let's see if I can open up too wide. You see a bunch of teeth here. Probably looks a little familiar. It's an American alligator. Now, alligators are amazing animals, and we do have them in our wetland aviary, so I hope you go and check it out. But a cool way to tell how big an alligator is actually, it's a great hint, from nostrils to eyes, you kind of imagine how far is that. So if this looks to be about 5 to 6 inches, now you're not going to ask the alligator to kind of come out of the swampy habitat so I can get a long measuring stick to measure it. Don't want to get that close, but between the eyes to the nostril in inches is what that animal is in feet. So if this is 5 to 6 inches from nose to nostril, from nose to eyes, then that means that's about a 6-foot alligator. It's a good way to tell whether you want to get closer or you want to stand back a little bit. Would you like to meet a 6-foot alligator? Yes! I think it's mostly a yes. I'm not sure. We have a 6-foot alligator. Maybe having to wrestle with a little bit. Now, the reason why I mentioned this measurement idea is because most of the time alligators are submerged underwater, except for the very top part of their skull or their head. So they can breathe, they've got nostrils here, they've got eyes on top of their skull, so they can see. So, great way to stay covered mostly, hidden, makes you a good ambush predator. Are we really suspense? There's the 6-foot alligator. Okay, keep. Oh my gosh. All right, this is my first time doing the show, and this has never happened to me before. Not a 6-foot alligator. You fooled me, Nick. I thought we had a 6-footer. This is more like a 1.5-footer. This is one of our animal ambassadors. A very young alligator. It's about a year to year and a half. They grow about 12 inches a year until they get to be about 7-8 feet. Then their growth rate slows down a little bit, maybe 6 inches a year. But alligators can live a pretty long time, up to 50 years. Now, if you notice, you can see the nostrils, the eyes on top of the head, just like our skull illustrated. We've also got webbed feet to help them move through the water. Basically, that's their way to steer. The tail actually does the propelling, and that's about 72 to 80 teeth inside that mouth. Now, you might think, at that age, that's not too scary, but their bite is super strong. That is about 1,000, 2,000 pounds of pressure closing down. So it's really helpful when they are searching for prey. So they grab a hold of whatever they can catch. Most of the time in a watery habitat, you're going to find fish, but there are other things that live out there. And when those jaws clamp down super strong, the prey is not getting away because of that jaw strength. So this little guy, although the mouth is not taped because this is not a touching program, but if we were to have people touch with some of our other programs, we tape that mouth because we want to protect you. Awesome. Thanks, Nick. Really cute guy. You know, there's a little bit of striping on its back that actually helps it to camouflage when it's this young. Now, alligators, they've made a great comeback, but they were very close to extinction. I'm sorry, we're getting a little feedback. I'll see if I can walk over here. All right, is that better? Yeah. That's better, Mike. All right, so alligators were very close to extinction in the 70s, right? They were losing their habitat. They were being hunted for their hide, believe it or not. Various reasons, but it took early conservationists to make a difference. In the late 70s, you had Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, Endangered Species Act. Lots of things were going on in the country, and that was one of the things that happened, was all that interest in protecting our earth, protecting species, helped bring that alligator back from the brink. People started to learn a little bit more fascinating things about them. A keystone species in its habitat. So alligators are really important, and I hope you will go and check out our alligators at our wetland aviary, because they are pretty amazing as well. Let me think. So we probably could be looking at another animal. Now, animals like alligators, habitat loss is usually one of the critical pieces to why we want to save animals from extinction. Nicky is out here. So we'll talk a little bit more about some of those other issues. Let's see who's going to pop out for us today. Who do we have? Hello, Newton. Newton is another one of our animal ambassadors. This is a blue and gold macaw. You would find this animal in the rainforest of South America. Beautiful coloration. Macaws are some of the largest of the parrot species. Now, lots of parrot species are threatened, some more than others, and a lot of that is due to habitat loss. You've probably seen in the movie Rio. It's illustrated very well with the forest being chopped down, beautiful wood that's used for furniture making and other things, but a lot of habitat loss for parrots. They thrive in the rainforest. Those beautiful colors help them to find each other. It's like when you go on a school trip and you're all wearing the same color t-shirt like Nikki and I are wearing, right? Helps us find each other. Parrots do that as well with their beautiful coloration. Other cool adaptations they have is that beak. And she's going to, that was really cool. She touched the target hole. So you're witnessing some really interesting training that we do with our analysts. So that beak is very strong, it's very thick. It can break through Brazil nuts and other types of nuts that they would eat in the rainforest, as well as fruit and seeds, etc. Parrots are highly intelligent. Very cool adaptation that Newton is illustrating is the way they can wrap. They've got 4 toes that are called zygodactyl. So they've got 2 toes forward, 2 toes back. So she's resting on the one branch, and with the other foot, she's bringing that nut or whatever she's eating to her beak using those very flexible toes. Now the hawk that we looked at and the gator that we looked at have eyes on the sides. I'm sorry, forward-facing eyes because they're predators. Now she's got eyes on the side of her head, which makes her a prey animal. She is beautiful. Now you see her raise her feathers on the top of her head. That's one of the ways they communicate feelings or emotions. She's going to step up on the perch with her 2 forward and 2 rear zygodactyl toes. She is gorgeous. Thank you, Newton. Thank you. All right. So I'm sure we have another animal that we'll be seeing. One of the animals that I want to mention, actually there are 2 of them that we're actually focusing on this year. Saving animals from extinction, as my shirt notes, is what zoos are doing now to protect animals. And they've targeted 10 animals currently that they're working extra hard to. We want to protect all animals, but we're using our combined expertise, experience in the zoo community to teach the more than 180 million people that come to zoos and aquariums every year. So using all that expertise, we try to focus not only just our funding efforts, but just kind of brain power on what we can do to actually help those animals in the wild. Cheetahs are one of the animals that we're really looking at this year, as well as sea turtles. Cheetahs have lost more than half of their area since 1975, so their numbers have decreased. There are 5 types of sea turtles that actually come in and around the North American coast. Green sea turtles, Kemp's Ridley, loggerhead are 3 of those. So we're going to focus our attention this year on those 2 animals. we hope that you will help us with that as well. And I wonder, I'm trying to remember the last animal. I've got my script here, but I want to try and remember it. I'm hopping mad. I can't believe I can't think of what that last animal is. I'm thinking. You guys help me think. What's that? I think it's an owl. I don't know. I thought it was something that...
A bunny. It's a bunny.
Oh. I guess I was hopping mad for a good reason. It was the rabbit. That's our friend Piglet. That was Piglet. Let's see if we can get... Maybe Piglet will come back out. Piglet is a domestic rabbit. Now we have wild rabbits here in Connecticut. They're called cottontail rabbits. There's a New England cottontail and an eastern cottontail species. And what you're witnessing, boys and girls and ladies and gentlemen, so if you want to work with animals, there's something that you need, and that is perseverance and patience to work with these animals. That is called a target pull, and often it's got the ball on the end of it, and that's some of the early parts of training, is getting an animal to touch a target pull, and then you can go from there. She's doing amazing. Probably never have seen a rabbit walking on a leash. I'm pretty impressed with our Piglet.
Can you see it?
Now the New England cottontail is a very endangered species here. Very rare. Right, I think Piglet is saying, okay, I'm here. Well, was that cool to see a rabbit on a leash? Now rabbits have some really cool adaptations, you know, the long ears, which traditionally they have. Do you know that on a hot summer day, they can't sweat? We can sweat, right? It actually helps us to cool off. They cannot sweat. And what they do is they vent the heat that they have in their bodies. And the blood is traveling up and down through their ears, right? And the ears are very thin and they're exposed to the cooling winds, and that actually vents the heat out of their body. So ears are not only cool for listening, but they're cool for keeping you cool. I think that's a lot of cool there I was mentioning. Now, what we're going to do now is I think one of the ladies, once they're done, are going to help me. Now, who loves animals? Do we still love animals? And you want to learn about them? So as I mentioned, sea turtles and cheetahs are where we're going to focus our attention, and monies that we collect this summer are going to go right to cheetah conservation. The Association Zoos and Aquariums, all 229 of us, are working really hard toward collecting funds for those animals, as I said, using our brain power to think about very creative ways about how we can help animals from extinction. So I've got my gator sculpt here, and it's going to help me and help animals to collect some funds. So if you would like to see our alligators go up close, with that. We're going to feed the alligator. So if you want to feed the alligator, you can stick your hand in the jaw there and drop any change, any dollar bills you want to. We don't keep it for us, as I said. That goes to help animals from extinction. And you might be able to come up close. You can't touch the rabbit, but you can get a nice close look of our friend Piglet here. Yeah, that's Piglet.
And the other girl. Here's the other girl.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, thank you so much. And look at those teeth. And if you want to be brave, remember this alligator, this is a skull. If you want to touch the teeth, you can touch the teeth. Very good. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your attention today. I hope you enjoyed meeting some of our animals and think how what you can do to save animals from extinction. Sometimes it's the simple thing of turning the water off while you're brushing your teeth, turning your lights off, right? So you save electricity. Planting native plants. Pollinators are another thing we want to help focus on, because without all those pollinators, that includes bats and birds, of course, and bees, to pollinate our plants, which is a third of what we eat, we'll be in trouble. So there are lots of things that you can do. And what I didn't mention, and a big thank you to everybody, just because you're coming here today, you've already helped save animals. Just 25 cents of every dollar that came in here through the gate goes to conservation. So that's 25%, that's a quarter of everything that we get in there. So that's a large amount. So thank you for being here. And I hope you enjoy your day with today at the zoo. Now we do have our otter feedings are normally around 12 o'clock, thereabouts, subject to change based on the animals, because when you're working with animals, you're working with a living collection. But hopefully get over to the wetland area somewhere in that time frame and you'll be able to see our otters get fed and well trained somewhere around 12 o'clock. Alrighty, well thank you very much. And if you have any questions, come on up and we'll be happy to try and help answer.
Hi there.
Not There's some more animals.
Now we gotta go do more soup. You have to be there. I didn't see you have one on your shirt. Crocodile.
What dress?
Wanna go get me a stroller? Can you wait for the other guys? Come on, Christopher.